What's up, guys? Matt Brown here for thelines.com, playpicks.com, and this is your Week 11 market rundown in the NFLs. Kicking things off on Thursday night, New England Patriots travel to Atlanta as 6.5 or 7-point road favorites in this one. Of course, the Patriots come in off this beatdown, absolute destroying of the Cleveland Browns. The Falcons just go out and lay a complete egg, get absolutely blitzed, and then find themselves as nearly touchdown, and in the case of at DraftKings, a full touchdown underdog in this game. We do see a total of 47 or 47.5. Indianapolis Colts on the road at the Buffalo Bills. The Bills are 7 to 7.5 point home favorites in this one over the Colts. Total of 49. The Colts playing better. They are starting to look a little bit more like a team that has kind of figured some things out here, especially on the defensive side of the ball, starting to play a little bit better defense as well. That said, the Bills bounced back from that embarrassing loss to the Jaguars this past week to absolutely destroy the Jets. And everybody seems to be back on the Bills train here as they are a full touchdown and even a 7.5 point favorite over the Colts at one of the books. Baltimore Ravens at the Chicago Bears. The Baltimore Ravens on the road as 6 to 6.5 point favorites in that one, a total of 45.5. The Ravens get embarrassed on Thursday night. This seems to be a trend, right? It seems like all the teams we thought were good go out and not only lose, just lose in embarrassing fashion. So the Ravens lose on Thursday night, absolutely embarrassed. And with that, you only find them as kind of a 6-point favorite here over the Chicago Bears, who really have started to look like Justin Fields is rounding into form. Like he needed some reps. He needed to kind of get a little bit more confidence. And then with that, this Bears offense is moving just a little bit better. And listen, the Bears are coming off of a bye, so maybe they were able to figure something out over a bye as well. Kind of the mini bye there for the Ravens as they played on Thursday night. Detroit Lions at the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland Browns got dismantled by the Patriots and still find themselves as 10-point home favorites over the Detroit Lions. Detroit Lions coming off of a game where they couldn't even beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. Tried to hand it to them, tried to give it to them multiple times, couldn't do it. Jared Goff played absolutely pathetic, and with that, they tied. So they still don't have a win, but they tied the Pittsburgh Steelers without Ben Roethlisberger out there. The total in this one, 44.5. We assume Baker Mayfield will be playing quarterback for the Browns. He got nicked up yet again. So it could be Case Keenum. We'll monitor that situation. But boy, this Browns team, peaks and valleys, no doubt about that with this team. Houston Texans on the road at the Tennessee Titans. Tennessee Titans are 10.5 point home favorites over the lowly Texans. 44.5 your total. There's a 45 available out there as far as the total in this thing. Tennessee Titans scrape out a win against the New Orleans Saints. New Orleans Saints had a chance to tie the game with a 2-point conversion, couldn't get it done, and the Tennessee Titans get it done. That said, if you go back and you look at that game, if you're watching it or if you look at the stats, the offense was not good at all. And this second week in a row that this offense has not been any good. And it's also the second week in a row where they didn't have Derrick Henry. So it seems to be a pretty massive hit downgrade to this team for Derrick Henry being out. So for all the running backs don't matter guys out there, it's at least mattering for this Titans team. That said, they also had to put Julio Jones on the IR. So they are really depleted right now as far as playmakers on this team. And you do wonder, even as bad as the Texans are, if 10.5 points isn't too much. Green Bay Packers and the Minnesota Vikings. Packers, 2.5 point road favorites in this one over the Packers, a total of 49.5. Packers got it done against the Seattle Seahawks, but boy, they did not look good either, especially on the offensive side of the ball. The defensive side of the ball, this Packers defense has been playing lights out over the last few weeks, so maybe they figured something out on the defensive side, but you can maybe chalk this up to some rust from Aaron Rodgers' side, but the offense really sputtered against a defense in Seattle that isn't all that good. The Minnesota Vikings go out and pull the outright upset this past week over the Chargers. find themselves just as small home dogs here. This is certainly in the teaser range that you'd be looking for. Taking the Vikings up to 8.5 if you found a partner for them in this one. I don't think this one turns into any sort of blowout. Dolphins on the road at the Jets. Yes, we have a Dolphins-Jets game this week. Dolphins 3-point road favorites. There's a 3.5 that has already popped out there. That said, it is even money. Total in this one of 45.5. Dolphins, I mean, you get Tua this week. He's already been named the starter, so at least you have that going for you. Here, the Jets, just a complete train wreck. The Mike White thing, it was cute for a while. That didn't last very long. It's just a bad offense, but which puts the defense in really bad positions. I mean, like, people are going to look and they keep talking about how many points this Jets defense has given up, but I mean, the Jets threw interceptions on 3 consecutive possessions in the game this past week against the Bills. And so they're never getting a chance to rest off the field. They're constantly playing from short fields. I mean, it's just they haven't a shot. Really going to be really hard for me not to lay the 3 with the Dolphins this week. Just given the state of the Jets. New Orleans Saints and the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles 1.5 point home favorites over the Saints, a total of 43.5 or 44. In this one, the Eagles have been running the ball like no other. In situation neutral, they're running the ball like nearly 70% of the time. It's crazy, but it's working. They're just kind of relying on their defense to keep the game close. And as of right now, the whole Boston Scott, Jordan Howard show is working for the Eagles. Now, will that work against the New Orleans Saints, who have one of the better run defenses in the NFL? That question is to be remained. But the real question here is how are the Saints going to put points on the board, because it has been real tough sledding with Trevor Siemian at quarterback. Do they turn to Taysom Hill more? Do they try to figure something out? Alvin Kamara, of course, missed this past week. We'll try to figure out whether he's going to go for the Saints this week or not. But this is a very interesting game and probably one that I want no part of. Washington football team and the Carolina Panthers. Panthers, 3.5 point home favorites over the football team, 43.5 your total in this one. Big news for Washington. They lose Chase Young for the season with a torn ACL. Super bummer of a situation for those guys. On the Carolina side, the big news is it is looking like very, very likely that Cam Newton is going to be the starter. They even came out and said that he's going to get a ton of starter reps at practice this week, and it'll likely be Cam Newton under center for the Carolina Panthers this week. San Francisco 49ers, fresh off of their beatdown of the Rams on Monday Night Football, find themselves as 6.5 to 7 point road favorites over the Jacksonville Jaguars, who just really and truly have been so bad. And even though the Colts didn't run away with that game this past week, I mean, this Colts put up 17 points on in the first quarter and really just kind of took their foot off the gas. You look at this 49ers team, they just ran to the tune of over 40 carries in the game against the Rams, and it just worked. They just power run game, and then what that did was Jimmy Garoppolo didn't have to do much through the air. Now, I mean, he had a good game. Don't get me wrong, I'm not taking anything away from him, but he just all he had to do was just connect on some short passes, kind of keep the chains moving. So it was very interesting there. Jacksonville Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence is just not looking like he's making some of the strides that maybe some of these other guys are making. I don't necessarily really blame him for that. I think a lot of that has to do with the offense that he is in. Cincinnati Bengals on the road at the Las Vegas Raiders. Bengals are 1 point to 1.5 point road favorites over the Raiders. 49 is your total in this one. The Cincinnati's coming off of a bye, so maybe they figured some stuff out after kind of slumping there before the bye for them. Maybe they need a little bit of rest, and maybe they just need to figure something out on the offense and defensive side of the ball. Raiders could be in a free fall here. It is bad situation for them. They just get absolutely destroyed by the Chiefs, and that's coming off of a loss the previous week on the road at the Giants. Obviously lose the coach, the Henry Ruggs situation, the offensive identity for this team seems to be lacking. So could be the wheels coming off for the team down there in Las Vegas. Dallas Cowboys on the road at the Kansas City Chiefs in the premier game of the week. Cowboys find themselves as 2.5-point road underdogs to the Kansas City Chiefs, a total of 55.5 in this game. The Chiefs righted the ship against that Vegas Raiders team that we just talked about. The Cowboys righted the ship this past week as well in destroying the Atlanta Falcons. 55.5, I don't even know if that is enough for these two offensive. Both of them are actually working. Can't wait to sit down and watch that game on Sunday. Arizona Cardinals on the road at the Seattle Seahawks. The Cardinals are 2.5-point road favorites. Total of 49.5. And this one, there's even a 50 out there. There's a lot of confusion around this one because we don't know if Kyler Murray's going to play. We don't know if DeAndre Hopkins is going to play. Like, there's a lot of questions about what's going on with the Cardinals. Cardinals do have a bye next week, and so that adds even another wrinkle into this. Do you just go ahead and sit all those guys this week so you can get through the bye week as well, and then you just enter that last part of the season completely healthy? So there's a lot of questions going on here. Seattle Seahawks, 2.5-point home underdogs. Makes you wonder if that's that teaser leg that you want to pair with from earlier, because getting them up to 8.5 against a Colt McCoy-led Cardinals team could be the way to go in that thing. Steelers and the Chargers. Chargers are 4.5-point home favorites, 47 your total there. Pittsburgh Steelers, again, coming off of a tie against the Lions this past week with Mason Rudolph as quarterback. We don't know who's going to be back for the Steelers. They're also dealing with just a boatload of injuries as well that they're going to be dealing with. They had another guy entered the COVID protocol, Minka Fitzpatrick, this past week. TJ Watt's dealing with an injury. There's all kinds of stuff going on the Steelers side of the ball. So you're going to want to monitor that all week before we get to Sunday night. Chargers lose to the Vikings outright this past week, but this is a different animal here with the Steelers team, because even though the Steelers defense is better, the offense is far, far, far worse. You would like to think that the Chargers would be able to outscore this team, but monitor that injury situation in this one. And then finally on Monday night, the New York Giants and the Tampa Bay Bucks. The Bucks are 10.5 to 11-point home favorites over the Giants. 50 is your total in this one. The Bucks coming off of getting, only way you could explain it is embarrassed this past week. They're coming out of a bye and lose to the Washington football team. Just seems completely unacceptable. The New York Giants in this game are coming off of a bye. Saquon Barkley back at practice this week, so something maybe you wanted to monitor. Maybe want to monitor there. Could be one more weapon for the Giants against a Bucs defense that does not look at all like the Bucs defense that we saw in that championship run last year. They're going to need to right the ship, and they're going to need to right the ship in a hurry. Need to get Antonio Brown and Gronk back on the field as well for them. Guys, if you want to check this stuff out for yourself, just head over to the lines, click on odds at the top. It'll take you to right here. And then, of course, you can just, whichever state you live in, or you can just check out whatever's going on in all the other states in the drop down right there as well. Of course, take advantage of any of these sign-up offers as you see. So you want multiple outs, right? I mean, all these different lines, all these different totals, all these different things like that. So you want to be able to go to the book that has the best line, the most favorable for what you're trying to do. So be sure and sign up for these offers up here at the top. All these free bets. Look at all these free bets, man. Take advantage of that as well. If you're watching this on the YouTube, go ahead, subscribe to the channel. Everything we do, absolutely free. Thumbs up. Let us know which lines stick out to you over there in the comment section as well. Good luck on all your bets in week 11.